The wonderful world of sports is mostly limited to the best known, watched, or played ones. But taking a closer look at some of the lesser known and completely bizarre sports of the world will have you holding your head in disbelief. From keeping ferret in pants to ironing in the most extreme conditions, here are 10 of the world's most weird sports that still exist in this day and age. Let's begin. Number 10. Ferret legging. Let's start this list with a bang. Or a bite. This is hands down the most bizarre sport I have ever come across. Ferret legging is actually a sport and has been continued for many years all across the world. This strange sport comes from Yorkshire, England, where it apparently originated among coal miners. Also known as put 'em down and ferret-down-trousers, the sport is really more of an endurance test as competitors place live ferrets in their pants and trap them, thereby tying the ankle hole shut. Whoever can keep the ferret in their pants longest wins. The world record is 5.5 hours. Yes, you heard that right. Someone not only put a ferret inside, but also let it stay in their pants for more than 5 hours. Some speculate that the sport may have arisen from a time when only the wealthy were allowed to keep animals for hunting, so poachers had to hide their ferrets. The sport has existed for a long time, but became quite popular in the 1970s and was revived with competitions in Richard between 2003 and 2009. Number 9. Buzkashi. Unlike most of the entries, it is difficult to see this sport catching on in the Western culture. While Buzkashi is played across wide swaths of Central Asia, it's the national sport of Afghanistan. The name literally means goat bashing in Turkish, and it involves horse-mounted players attempting to drag a goat carcass toward a goal. Yeah, you heard that right. This game is way more inhumane than the name suggests though. In the past, games could last several days, but today's matches have time limits. Riders typically wear heavy clothing and operate on an honor system, where they're expected not to intentionally dismount other players or whip their competitors. In Afghanistan, the game was banned under Taliban rule, but is now being played again. Matches typically occur on Fridays and draw thousands of fans, with the most popular riders being sponsored by wealthy Afghanis. The sport is regulated by the Afghan Olympic Federation. Imagine you're bored and the only fun idea that comes to your mind is dragging a poor goat across a field while being mounted on a horse. Yep, only in Afghanistan. Number 8. Wife carrying. If you thought the Finns were progressive and all that about gender equality, think again. Finland is a country that invented the sport of wife carrying, sometimes known as wife running. This is similar to what Jonathan Thurston has been doing for years with the Cowboys, carrying his best mates to try to win a title. The sport is basically an annual competition where husbands run an obstacle course while carrying their wives on their backs. The winner supposedly received his wife's weight in beer. The most famous competition is held in Sankarvi, Finland, where the sport was invented. There are different carrying styles, including piggybacking, fireman's carry, and the Estonian style, where the woman hangs upside down with her legs around the man's shoulders. The sport is spread to other parts of the world, including the US and Australia. Sounds like a great way to spend some quality time. Number 7. Kabaddi. If you've ever been to South Asia or have friends from the subcontinent, you must have heard about this sport. Kabaddi resembles the schoolyard game of tag, but it also has roots in Indian wrestling and allows you to tackle your opponent to the ground. It is the national game of Bangladesh and Nepal, having originated in ancient India. Each year there's a World Cup in South Asia, and India has won this every single year since it started. During a game, the raider must run across the center line and tag players on the opposing team before returning to their own half. This may sound simple enough, but the raider must also do all of this while holding his breath when in the opponent's half. And upon returning, the raider will chant "Kabaddi, Kabaddi" with his exhaling breath to show he has not inhaled. It has recently reached the UK, and there is now a governing body, and could well one day be a popular global sport. Reserve colonization is not just an idea anymore. Number 6. Cheese rolling. Cheese rolling in England is flat out ridiculous. Even in the realm of strange sports, this is an absurd contest. People come from all over the world to compete, chasing a wheel of cheese and trying to catch it. Don't be fooled by the silly concept though, the competition is intense. Competitors take part in the annual cheese rolling event at Cooper's Hill in Gloucestershire, UK. And here's how it works. A 9-pound wheel of double Gloucester is rolled with a 1-second head start before the competitors run after it. The cheese turns into an edible wheel of death, reaching speeds of up to 70 miles per hour. The first racer to cross the finish line wins the cheese. Don't ask questions, just roll with it. The first person to reach the bottom of the hill wins the cheese. It may not sound dangerous, but the steepness of the hill has resulted in several injuries. This is the perfect sport for Charlie Day. Number 5. Joggling. Juggling in itself is quite a strange sport, yet combine juggling with jogging and you have yourself one of the world's weirdest sports ever, joggling. There are 3 types of joggling. Speed jogglers aim to cover a distance whilst running and juggling in the fastest time. Error-free jogglers aim to run and juggle for the longest time without making a mistake. Finally, there are the trick jogglers, who aim to do as many juggling tricks as possible whilst running a mile. Although you might think that joggling is not a serious sport, some joggling fanatics have run in marathons and some have even run in ultra-marathons. Apparently, the world record for its ultra-marathon distance is 8 hours and 23 minutes, whilst the world record for marathon distance is 2 hours, 50 minutes, and 9 seconds. Number 4. Toe wrestling. The United Kingdom is home to many strange sports, but this one definitely takes the cake. This one sport is so weird, it feels downright uncomfortable just to watch. Welcome to toe wrestling. How anyone could even watch this sport is beyond human thinking, but the only thing funnier than the competition itself is its origin. Flashback to 1976 Britain in the village of Wetton. A group at Ye Olde Royal Oak Inn was discussing how British athletes never managed to be the best in the world at any one sport, so they decided to host a contest of their own. And that's how this relative of thumb wrestling was born. Rules are simple. With socks and shoes off, 2 competitors interlock their toes and try to pin down their opponent's foot. Even saying that takes so much strength. Imagine actually taking part in this weird sport. Would you want to take part in this game? Number 3. Chess boxing. Chess and boxing are typically 2 types of competitions that are at opposite ends of the spectrum, but one person thought it would be a fantastic idea to merge the 2 to create a new hybrid sport. The result has simply been named chess boxing, and Dutch performance artist Lepe Rubing is the inventor. The first competition took place in Berlin in 2003, but it has since exploded in popularity and is now played in Germany, Great Britain, India, and Russia, with major organizations and competitions taking place each year. A chess boxing fight consists of 11 rounds, including 6 chess and 5 boxing, alternating between each sport and lasting 3 minutes. A competitor may win by knockout, technical knockout, checkmate, or their opponent becoming disqualified, resigning, or exceeding the time limit in the chess rounds. Typically, as the fight goes on, the standard of chess understandably drops. I have to say, this is one cool sport.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. Mud Pit Belly Flop. The Mud Pit Belly Flop is actually one of a series of interesting activities known as the Summer Redneck Games. The games are held in East Dublin, Georgia, and other events. You don't need a well-made stomach full of abs when it comes to competitive diving in this gem of a sport. In fact, the bigger the belly, the better the result. All types of people try out this absurd sport at the annual Redneck Games. It all started in Georgia, in the US, in 1996 as a lighthearted tribute to the Summer Olympics in Atlanta. Since then, it has been called the top 5 craziest sports in the country. If you think this is crazy, watch out for the sport at the number 1 spot. Number 1. Extreme ironing. This sport is exactly what the name suggests. Extreme ironing was invented in 1997 by Phil Shaw. The sport basically involves doing the most boring chore in the world, ironing, in a remote or dangerous location. Those who participate in extreme ironing are called ironists and spend their free time lugging their ironing boards and irons around the world, while their loving partner carries a camera and hopefully a first aid kit in an attempt to capture their daredevil ironing stunt. This is probably the weirdest sport you've ever seen. Some of the best ironists have been snapped pressing their clothes up a mountain, in a waterfall, underwater, the motorway, hiking, rock climbing, dry and in snow, on top of a cow, while skydiving, or even strapped to the back of a New York City yellow cab. Where does the insanity stop? Which one of these strange sports did you find the most fascinating? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.